recently we've had Google Stadia release with some nice deals recently in particular. I wonder who could sort of talk to me about the benefits of cloud gaming and how that again lowers the barrier to entry.
I think the cloud gaming revolution is going to be extremely interesting. Obviously, we know the guys at Google, well. We know roughly what they're planning on doing. When recently Phil Spencer said about the fact that he doesn't see Sony being their main competitor in this current generation and going forth, he sees Amazon and Google being his main competitors. Is probably correct. It's fair to say, if you look at what certain social media platform owners have acquired, certain companies over in Spain, which would point towards them potentially doing some entry into the cloud gaming markets where the audiences are. They have to follow their audience. It's just, if you think of it, it's just grand interactive entertainment, and that meshing together of particularly guys who've got the secondary audience piece, the viewership, the Twitches, YouTube, and other various different services like that, combining together what sort of Glen's guys do, in terms of the talent, people who are playing games with a secondary audience and a type of game mechanics that are going to be possible around it. I use a couple of examples when talking to people around it and what type of things could be possible. So it's, for example, you guys could be watching me play whatever. Imagine we're fused in the future. I'm playing FIFA, for example, and you're watching me, and 80 minutes into the match, I'm playing as Tottenham, whoever. Receive the ball near to the area, and then I take a shot, balloon a ball miles over the bar, and you're watching me, and I've got a huge audience watching me, and you think you probably do better than I did at that particular moment in the game. You can take the video to 78, 79 minutes in, and then basically take over from where I was. Now this could be weeks, months, years after I've had that particular sort of moment. Score, reshare the video back to me. So first of all, it's the first bit of entertainment where you can really sort of stitch together the gamer and the viewership. There's no other sorts of entertainment where you could do that. You can't jump into a film and take over from precisely where a certain line was going, which I think is particularly interesting. I think on top of that as well, sort of Fnatic, Glen's lot are in the right type of market. I can see the influencers, the streamers becoming the richest entertainers on the planet by quite a considerable margin. When you start moving away from just relying on the bit of hardware that's sat in your home, and you can start having environments that could be spread across multiple servers. You have the opportunity to potentially have a gaming environment that could be sat in a virtual cityscape. You'd have tens of thousands of people in one game at one time, in theory. And then the entertainer who's working for, the streamer who's working for Fnatic could potentially charge someone to go and jump into their game right there and then. So I think on top of that, I think sort of game mechanics will change. Just like when casual gaming came along, the game mechanics sort of moved considerably by sort of like pick up and drop mechanics you get on casual gaming, about to hit people when on transporting on the tube or whatever it might be, that sort of short amount of attention span, and the games that built around that type of short pick up and grab and go. Then you've got to probably look at the big studios of the future, and from where we're sat, you're trying to assess, and we're very lucky. Obviously, we've got the guys in the call who are either employed by or sit on the board of or advisors to the company. We have a fair sort of understanding of what people are trying to do in the future of the platform owners. Graphic fidelity is going up and up. I'm sure people have seen the Unreal Engine 5 demo, which is pretty spectacular. And that's just the start of it all. It'll just go more and more and more impressive as it gets more competitive. I know Derek's got an opinion on it too. He's been involved with. Derek's seen this try to be done before. So yeah, I'll pass it to Derek.
Do you remember a little company called OnLive or Gaikai? Okay, so I come from like a weird background. So I ran a data center hosting business from 2000 2009 focused on online games, had 40 studios on my network at one point. And they were buying dedicated servers from us and just outsourcing their infrastructure. But what I saw was just the latency requirements, the things that you needed to do. And that whole like EMC square thing, the reason why it's called C, it's the speed of light is measured in C because it's constant. You can't change it, right? So some of these things are about distance math and what's really there. And I absolutely agree with James. The way to make these kinds of streaming services work is changing gameplay. This is never going to be the right place for me to go get my Counter-Strike on because I worry about my tick rate when playing there. I worry about getting a 4 millisecond mouse instead of an 8 millisecond mouse, right? These are not the places that I want to lose moments of latency because my BT shared home internet on my block is being abused. So it's just things like that. I think the mechanics will be the solution for it. I think we've made quantum leaps in what we can do technologically and what the distributed cloud compute edge looks like. So much better, well above what we could do in 2010, for example. But still, I expect some of the slowness you see on rollout for like 4K, 60 frames per second, low latency games is because that isn't mathematically possible for anybody with a basic calculator.
Well, Derek, I don't think I would want to end up in a Counter-Strike game with you. You seem very serious.
Or I was a long time ago.